Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Wealth Warriors presentation call. It's Wednesday, the 4th of February, 2026. My name's Andy Galloway, and this evening we're going to be going through a short presentation about the different platforms we're using in Wealth Warriors. Most of it, if you've been in Wealth Warriors for a little while, most of it you know, but there are a few things, changes, updates, and so on, things to look forward to. And also some insight into our thinking about, or what our thinking should be as an organization, as a community, what it should be about certain things. So without further ado, I'm going to share my video, and we're going to have a look at a standard presentation and get this show on the road. So there we go. We are looking at welcome to Wealth Warriors, financial freedom fighters. I'm pleased to say that we do consider ourselves to be financial freedom fighters, but we're financial freedom fighters in our own lives, because nobody else is going to do that for us. So we need to do it ourselves, but we do need to be aware. We need to make ourselves aware that we're in a struggle. It's not something to be taken or to be undertaken lightly. Nobody's going to give us anything. We have to go out there and take what we want. We don't have to do it in a callous or cavalier way. We can do it with compassion and understanding and love, but we're the ones fighting for our financial freedom. Nobody else is going to do it for us. So that's the basic idea behind Wealth Warriors. So the first thing we start with is a disclaimer. As ever, nothing in this presentation is given as financial or investment advice. We're not an investment platform, we're a community, but we do promote online platforms that meet our strict criteria. And if you do decide to invest in any of the platforms discussed in this presentation, only use money you can comfortably afford to lose and carry out your own due diligence. And I'm not an employee or an agent of any of the companies mentioned herein. However, that is going to change next week, and I will talk about that when we get to that bit. So what that means is if you join one of these platforms as an agent, I'm an agent. If you're a member, I'm also a member. If you're an advocate, I'm also an advocate. I'm not a member of the company. I'm just the same as you. So we have a number of criteria that we follow, that we use to guide us when we are adopting these platforms, because what we've learned over the years is nobody can predict any platform is going to succeed or fail. There are certain indicators, and there are certain indicators that ensure a platform is going to fail, and that's really what we're trying to avoid. So as soon as we identify those criteria, as soon as we identify those traits or that type of setup, then we walk away from it. Even if we've been invested for a little while, we've got some money invested, it's not worth the hassle. Just walk away and hang around, get your money out if you can, but don't put more time, money, and effort into it. Certainly don't introduce new people into it. If it's going to go pop, then let it do it without you. And so where we can, we identify a platform that's not worthy of our time and effort, and so we walk away from it. We're grown up about it. We don't get emotionally involved. Most people make emotional decisions. I get bombarded with messages all week long, people telling me their platform is the biggest and best, and I take a quick look and I say, I'm sorry, that's a scam. And then they try to convince me it isn't, because they've been in it for 3 months and it's, they've made lots of withdrawals, so it can't possibly be a scam. And they went to a meeting in Hong Kong, or they went to a meeting in Dubai or somewhere, and so it couldn't possibly be a scam. Those are not good indicators. They're not good indicators. I've seen meetings where you get thousands of people together in a conference room somewhere, and show it all off and put videos up on YouTube, and 2 days later the whole thing's gone bust. So those things are not good indicators. So we have criteria, is the point I'm trying to make, so that we don't fall into that trap readily. We still can make mistakes, and that's why we have, as well as the criteria, we have a strategy about how we adopt or how we approach these platforms. So the criteria are quite simple. It must be available in the whole world. One of the most important things we're trying to do is to maintain lines of sponsorship. And if there is a part of the world that's excluded, and we have Wealth Warrior members in that part of the world, then the lines of sponsorship die a death. And so that's not acceptable to us. Therefore, even if it's a great platform, could be the greatest platform ever devised, we're not doing it because it's not available everywhere in the world. The second criteria is that it must have a unilevel compensation plan for exactly the same reason. If it's a binary system or a forced matrix or something like this, then you can't maintain lines of sponsorship. So you have all of your platforms with a unilevel plan, maintaining lines of sponsorship perfectly. Then we join this other platform that forces your team to split into two groups, or 3 or 5 groups, however many it is. So we don't do that. We just walk away. Again, people don't understand us. They say, well, it's a great platform. It's making a lot of money. Not interested, because we would have to break one of our basic criteria. Number 3, people must be able to join for free or get involved in a passive income program for a very low entry cost. Again, the idea is that if we have, if there's too high an entry cost, then some of our people won't be able to get involved, and that will break the lines of sponsorship. And we don't want that. We want it to be so that everyone can get involved with every platform. So there you have it. The combination means we can maintain lines of sponsorship. That's the most important thing we do in Wealth Warriors. The platform also must be based on real world applications, not just a money game or a shell game. So I often look at these platforms where they say, give us your money and we'll give you 5% in 7 days, 5% a day for 7 days. Okay. And I'm saying, okay, that's great. What are you doing to make your money? And they say, we do all these things. We've got gold mines and oil wells, and we've got pensions and retirement advice and all sorts of things, real estate. And I say, okay, just give me an example then. Show me some real estate. Oh no, we don't see the real estate. Okay, well, show me how come you're playing around with people's pensions? Are you licensed? Are you approved? Are you registered? Show me that registration. They say, oh no, we don't do that. I say, well, what do you do? What can you prove to me? What can you show me that proves to me that we're making money in that operation? And they say, well, we can't. I say, okay, in which case we aren't doing it. Oh, but it's perfectly legitimate. It may well be. We're still not doing it. Okay, so I don't have to be right. We just, there's too many platforms out there for us to waste time getting involved in things that just don't meet our criteria. And we need to be a little bit hard-nosed about it, because I believe, and I believe the criteria or the watchword, if you like, that we've adopted is, it's better to be out of a platform wishing we were in than in a platform wishing we were out. Okay, so we might only get into half the platforms that we're eligible to get involved with. It might only be 10% of what we're eligible to get involved with, but at least that 10% is going to keep us happy and make us money and allow us to build our Wealth Warriors business, not just that one platform. That's the criteria. That's the crux of it for me, is that we are trying to build a community, not just 1 or 2 platforms. The compensation plan must be viable and sustainable. And the membership of Wealth Warriors must all be able to get behind the project, so we don't get involved in gambling, money lending, gaming, anything like that. Okay, we also don't get involved in things that involve people turning up in person, going off to sell products, or to get involved in a holiday type program where you have to contact customers to sell them holidays and things. Everything is available out there. We just don't do it. We don't have to do it. So we have a number of platforms. One is the Republic of Old Souls. What I like about the Republic of Old Souls is that it allows us to become free from control, free from financial control, governmental control, legal control, and get on and live our own best life based on what we want, not what's being imposed on us by the outside world. So Republic of Old Souls offers the following services. In fact, I said last week there's a lot more than this. I'm not going to update this slide just yet, because it's constantly in flux. There's about another 6 different protocols at least. One of them is the Envoy protocol, the Asset Fortress protocol, the Infinite Money protocol, Mortgage Liberation, Mortgage Redemption, and the Commerce protocols. So let's have a very brief look at a few words about each of those in a minute. So to join the Republic of Old Souls, you can sign up as a member for free. And then if you want to take part in any of the services they offer, then you pay for it up front. And then you're not just a member, you're a paid member. So you don't pay for the subscription. It's just that you are a member who is paid for one of the protocols, one of the services they offer. Once you're a member, even a free member, you can request to become an advocate. And an advocate can introduce members, and an advocate can earn commissions when those members buy services. And when those members receive the benefit of those services, then their advocate also receives a small payout, a small commission. You can also request to become an advocate originator, and that's kind of similar to an advocate, but you can, as well as introducing members, you can also introduce advocates. You receive upfront commissions when one of your members pays, I've said that, and you can receive back-end commissions when one of your members receives their recoupment, their benefit from the service they've signed up for. So the Envoy protocol, you correct your status and standing. This is where you become divorced from the legal and government system in the area that you live in. So you become a completely separate entity from your local government. In essence, in legal terms, if you like, or in diplomatic terms, you become a separate country from the country in which you reside. You're a completely separate country. And then you can step into the Republic of Old Souls if you want to and operate as a church envoy and a diplomat for the Republic of Old Souls. And that means that you're shielded by international law. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and murder people or deliberately break the laws of the road or rob a bank or anything like that. But you are shielded from international or by international law from prosecution for various things. For example, you don't need to file and pay taxes, and your property is your own, is not subject to anybody coming along to take it away from you. You can play with the Asset Fortress protocol. You can place your homes, businesses, and wealth into private international trusts, so it's out of the reach of anybody else. You don't own it. In fact, your trust owns all of your assets. You just have the benefit of them. You live in them, fly them, sail them, drive them, whatever it is. Okay, but they're not actually yours. And that way, when you want to, your beneficiaries in the estate can also enjoy those assets, and there's no tax liability for your children using the house that's in the trust, because it's not your house and it's not their house either. It belongs to the trust. So it hasn't changed hands, just the benefit has moved on to somebody else. So you can shield assets from seizure and tax. That's not to say that you don't pay tax, but if you want to pay tax, you can. You volunteer for it. So every year you can say to the government, I'm going to give you this much money. Consider it to be a donation. Okay, if you feel strongly that you should be supporting the infrastructure in the area where you live, there's nothing to stop you doing that. One of the protocols is the infinite money protocol, and you can recoup your transmissions. Now, transmission is when money leaves any of your bank accounts. That's a transmission in terms of in terms of banking law. That money's been transmitted. So if money spent from your bank account, so you can recoup them. And what that means is you can get them back at some point in the future. So right now you can recoup years 2023, 2024, and 2025 on the Republic of Old Souls platform. You can select those and fill in all the paperwork, upload your documents, and so on, and you can recoup those years worth of bank expenditures. You have about another excuse me. You have another 6 months or so before the 2023 will be closed off. So if you know anybody who wants to claim that year particularly because they had a lot of expenditure, then now is the time to get them involved in the Republic of Old Souls. Next year, in January 2027, that will change to 2024, 2025, and 2026. So every year going forward, you can claim last year when it gets to next year. Sure you understand that. So you have to pay for this service, and it costs about £1,000. That's British pounds. Or for a business bank account, it's £1,500. And you can do as many of these as you like. The bank has to be a particular bank, sorry, not a particular bank, but a particular type of bank. A lot of these online banks, it doesn't work. It's got to be, you know, what we probably say is a high street bank. And you can complete the forms online and upload the information. So with the Republic of All Souls, they don't do the work for you. You pay them and they will provide the information to teach you how to do it, and then you do it yourself. But they provide the forms and the process and the information flow to make it easy for you to do. But they don't do it for you because that's a different service, and they don't want to be involved in that service because it changes the whole operation completely. So the mortgage liberation protocol, this is about where you have a mortgage, a live mortgage right now, and you want to discharge it. Basically you want to have it paid off. And so you can do that. Again, you sign up for that as a paid service. They'll provide the forms and tell you what information you need to upload, what information you need to supply, and you do that, and then the process is underway. At the end of the process, that mortgage will be discharged. You'll be informed, you know, that mortgage has been settled, and you now own that property outright. So to pay for this, the cost is on a sliding scale. So a larger property you would need to pay, or a larger mortgage, I should say, you would need to pay more for the service. Okay. And in a similar way, the mortgage redemption protocol is kind of the same, but it's not a current mortgage. It's not a live mortgage. This is about redeeming mortgages that you've had in the past, going back the last 25 years. And based on those mortgages, you can recoup the value of those mortgages as what's referred to as abandoned credit. So there's a process to recoup at least 3 times the face value of the mortgages. Let's suppose 25 years ago, let's suppose it was 2001. And in 2001, you had a mortgage for $100,000. Today, you can recoup $300,000 as a result of that mortgage of $100,000 25 years ago. And you may have had, in the last 25 years, you may have had 5 or 6 mortgages. You can redeem all of them. You have to pay for each one individually. So what I suggest you do is maybe redeem 1 or 2, and then when you get the money in, redeem the rest. So there's forms available for you. They make the forms available to you. They provide instruction and guidance on how to do it and how it works and why it works and this sort of thing. You complete the information, upload your documents, and it's underway. It's on the go. And then there are costs on a sliding scale depending on the size of the mortgage, and so you pay more for larger mortgages being redeemed. The final one I'm going to talk about now is the commerce protocol. For those of you that have businesses of your own, if you're the owner of a business, a corporation maybe, or even just a trading business, you know, a sole proprietorship, or a mom and pop business, whichever way you want to look at it, then you can move all of that into your commerce protocol and take it away from this idea of having to report taxes and make financial filings every year and keep the government updated about what you're doing. You don't need to do any of that. It becomes an entity that's no longer under the control of your local government. Part of the process is you would end up with a ministry bank account, so you receive tax-free donations from people. You don't invoice people for them to pay you. You ask them for a tax-free donation or a donation, which happens to be tax-free, which they pay. And then you can make gifts to your asset shelter under the asset shelter protocol, and then you can fund your spending from the trust. So there's no penalty then for taking money away from your commerce, your business, because you've done it this way. There's no tax involvement, and so you fund your spending from the trust, not from your commerce, not from your business. So it's all clever stuff. And with all of these, with some of these, you can spend and recoup every year going forward. For example, with the bank recoupments, every year you can recoup last year. and the same with the commerce. So that creates an ongoing cycle of abundance, which is pretty impressive. Now, this is my progress on my bank payment recruitment. Many of you will know that there's been no progress on this since I spoke about it last week. So we're just waiting now for the IRS to pay out my money for my bank recruitments in 2022 and 2023. So there's a big long list of checks above this, and they've all been checked off. So we're down to this last little thing. They've already agreed that the money's valid. It's all available. It's there. They've said they're going to pay it. And so we said, yes, please give me the money. And so now we're just waiting for them to give me the money. And that's the same with both years. So a strategy might be you pay £1,000 to recoup your bank payments from 2023. And the average recruitment for that is about $125,000. One of mine is $188,000 and 105, I think. So 125 be about right, I think, for most people. And then you can receive that money within 4 to 6 months, deposit it into your bank account or the trust's bank account, and then you take some of that money and you pay to recoup your other payments from the same bank in 2024, 2025. You may have some other banks as well, so you pay for those as well. If you do have more than one bank and you're thinking of doing this, then do all of the 2023 now. Like I say, you've only got 6 months to make that happen. So you haven't really got time to waste. So you receive that money then within 4 to 6 months, deposit into your bank to spend, and rinse and repeat, because then every time you spend from your bank, you can recoup back through the bank payment recoupment protocol, or the infinite money protocol. So that's Republic of Old Souls. I'm not going to go into that anymore. I could talk for hours about the Republic of Old Souls, but we want to keep this presentation down to about 7 hours to make sure everybody stays up to date. That's a joke, by the way. As you know, I aim for an hour, and lately I've been missing the hour, but we'll see what we can do. BitNex is a great business. It's a crypto investing company. I did a whole presentation, last Sunday, the whole presentation pretty much was about BitNex. So if you want more information than I'm giving you here, so I'm going to kind of thin this out a little bit. If you want more information, then go and look at that video. It was posted a couple of days ago on the same channel you're getting this video from. So it was dated, where are we now, the 4th, so I think that was dated on the 2nd. I think it was, I posted it on the 2nd of February. So it's been around a long time. A lot of people have made a lot of money. So to use BitNex, you pay a small setup fee, and that's gone then. That money's gone. You're not investing that money, you're staking that money. It's gone. That's what was used to set up the contract. The contract arranges for you to for the contract that you own. It arranges it to borrow money from the bank, and it also insures that money that is borrowed from the bank. And then what it does is it stakes the money that it borrowed from the bank. So you aren't staking your $100, you're staking the $30,000 that the bank loaned you, or the $43,000 the bank loaned you. It didn't lend it to you, it lent it to the contract. You have no control over it, you can't touch it, you can't move that money around. It's all under the control of the contract. That's why the banks are happy to lend the money, because they're not giving it to us. They're giving it to a contract. They've seen these contracts thousands and thousands of times before, so they're quite happy with what they get from it. So you make profits. So you see you make a lot more profit from staking $30,000 than you do $1,000. And the profits are used to pay insurance premiums, and at the end of the contract, whatever profit you've made repays the loan. Whatever's left is your share. So let's just have a very quick look. There are 4 different types of contract: the DeFi Hybrid 24, 36, 60, and 84. Now, these here are just variations on a theme. That DeFi Hybrid 24 pack is 15 of these. DeFi Hybrid 36 pack is 15 of these. And the benefit is you only pay the equivalent of 10 contracts, but you get 15. So immediately you've got a 50% uplift in your investment. The difference between the 4 different types of contract is they last for 24 months, 36 months, 60 months, and 84 months. And at the end of it, you walk away with the payout. After 2 years, 21,000. After 3 years, 35,000. After 5 years, nearly 500,000, and after 7 years, almost 1.5 million. The packs are just 15 times the equivalent price. There's nothing special about it. Once you've got your 5 extra contracts, they behave exactly the same as the single contracts. So the profit of my first contract after 30 months, starting with $100, is, so my profit, so I haven't got it on this contract, on the image, I apologize. But this is the summary of all of my contracts. So I've got 39 contracts. They've loaned 1.231 million. So far, they've made a profit of 155,000. And I only put in a few hundred, and I've made 155,000 on those contracts. And I'm making $1,000 a day, Monday to Friday, $1,000 a day in pure profit. Considering I only put a few hundred in, that's pretty awesome. $1,000 a day. So I'm not going to go into that because this is what I want to show you. My last profit today, where are we? Wednesday. Yes, my profit today was $1,002. Last week, Monday to Friday, last week was $8,300. And last month, in the month of January, I earned $32,300. And I only put a few $100s in. It's an awesome leveraging system. If you understand leveraging, then you will really appreciate what this is. This is the best leveraging I've ever seen. It's also the most secure. With most leveraging deals, for example, if you're trading Forex, you get a leverage of 100 times on your money. So when the asset goes up by $1, you make $100. But similarly, if it goes down by $1, you lose $100. It doesn't happen that way with this. This only ever goes up because you can't lose money in staking. You either make nothing or you make some profit. Nobody can take your money and make you lose it. So it's a completely different deal. So you get a free landing page in BitNex. If you want it, of course, you take your wallet ID out of this this URL here that we're looking at. You take away your wallet ID and you place your wallet ID in there. Now, this is a screenshot from my page, and there's my wallet ID. So for me, that number will go there. Okay, and you can do exactly the same thing. Once you signed up in BitNex, you take that link, add your number, give that to your friends. So what this means is, instead of giving them your referral link that the company provides you, where they just go there and it says, put in your email address and think of a password, this takes them to a landing page where they can watch a video. They can, in fact, there's several videos there. They can see some words. They can read some stuff. They can, investigate a little bit. They can see a video about people that have withdrawn hundreds of thousands of dollars from this system. And then when they decide to do it, they click the button, and then now they go to your registration page. So it's a good thing. People spend a huge amount of money on landing pages for their businesses. And here you've got one for free. So take advantage of it or don't. It's entirely up to you. So I'm not going to talk about this strategy. I'm going to talk through a couple of other strategies. Let's talk about income. So if we want a small ongoing income, we've only got $100 to get our income train started. So we put $100 in every quarter. So on the 1st of January, 1st of April, 1st of July, and the 1st of October, every year you buy a single contract, which means that over 3 years, and I'm saying here to buy these 3-year contracts, not the 2-year ones. You can do this as well with 2 years, entirely up to you. But after 3 years, you've actually invested $1,200. Most people spend $1,200 on eating out over a 3-year period. Most people spend more than that on, per year, let alone over a 3-year period. Most people spend more than that on their hobbies, whatever their hobbies are, toy trains or even reading books. You can easily spend more than $1,200 in 3 years. So what that means is that so you put that much money in, and after 3 years, the first contract matures, you receive $35,000. But then you receive $35,000 every quarter, which means that your income, your annual income, is $141,000 per year. So when a policy matures, you can just buy another $100 contract and keep that going, and you have an income of $141,000 a year from the third year onwards. And most of us could live on $141,000 a year. Some people couldn't. They have a much more lavish lifestyle, which is fine. But this is just an example of a small ongoing income that you can get started for $100 every 3 months. Now, if you want to up the ante, then you can just, instead of doing it every 3 months, you invest every month. Buy a new contract every single month. After 3 years, you've got 36 contracts, and it's cost you $3,600. But after 3 years now, the first contract that month is in month 37 is going to pay back to you $35,000. And every month after that, you're going to receive $35,000, which means that your income of $35,000 a year, a month, is $420,000 per year. And what you do is every month when you cash in that policy, you buy another policy just to keep the income going. In reality, if you got to this position, you would actually buy a lot more than just 36 contracts, but there is a limit of 80. I suspect you would definitely have 80 contracts on the go. And every time one matured, you buy another one. So that's a way of earning, $400,000 per year. And I think pretty much everyone on the planet could survive quite comfortably on $400,000 a year. And let's up the ante again and say, we're really going to push the boat out now. So you're going to invest $100 every single week for the foreseeable future, or for 3 years. So after 3 years, your total outlay, you bought a $100 contract every single week for the 3-year period. You've got £15,600 invested in that. Okay. Now, what that means, that's about equivalent. I've just bought some shares in a gold mine, and that's about the equivalent of what I spent on that. But it's a one-off thing, and it either succeeds or it fails. Whereas with this, you've got, I can't even think how many, you've got 156 different chances. If one of them fails, you've got 155 still to go. So after 3 years, you're withdrawing 141,000 every month. Whether it's 4 weeks or 5 weeks in a month, that average is at 141,000, which is an annual income of 1.8 million. Most people, if they knew for certain that investing $100 every week for a total outlay of 15,600, if they knew for certain, absolutely cast iron, that they would end up with an ongoing lifetime income of 1.8 million per year, they would jump all over this. So the only thing that holds us back is our doubts and fears. So you might not go for the lifetime ongoing income, but you might have liked the medium size or the small one. But do something. Just do something. You haven't got to do it all perfectly. You haven't got to do the maximum that you can do. Just do something, because if you don't, you will kick yourself. I'm in a position now, my first contract is going to mature in just over 5 months' time. And for a long time, I only held one contract because my plan was just give it a go, see what happens. And after a while, when I began to understand it, and I saw other people taking out $500,000 in Bitcoin, one guy took out 67 Bitcoin, and I'm thinking, I wish I'd done more than one contract. And you will think the same. If you don't do the absolute maximum you can do, you will be thinking, I wish I'd done more when I first got started. But of course, that's all mind games. You play mind games with yourself. We all do. So do something. That's what I'm saying. Just do something. Could you do more? Probably, but just do something. So I'm not going to talk about charitable giving, but there are some great strategies there about charitable giving. The fastest growth is to just do the 2-year plans. So I'm not going to go through that. On your landing page that I gave you the link to just now is this video about somebody who walked away with 400,000 withdrawal. So you can see that. I mean, if you give out your landing page, that's the sort of material your friends will be able to look at. It still amazes me. People wander around saying, do we have any proof it pays out? And I said, well, you know that link I sent you? There's a video on there. Oh, I didn't see that. So, it's available. Just share it with people. And again, there is that link. So Viralio is, I skipped over it and I shouldn't have done that. I apologize. I should have. Okay, I'm going to do this verbally. I thought I'd made these slides available again, and I didn't. So Viralio, some of you know, is an AI trading system. It trades on cryptocurrency, and we've been working with Viralio for about 6 months. They had great results for a long, long time until they released it on the open market, and then they didn't like the results, so they shut it down. Basically, they've rethought the whole system. They're not having, excuse me, they're not going to do what they said initially they were going to do. What they're going to do now is allow people. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's rewind a little bit. Viralio are going to do a launch of Viralio 2.0, if you like, in February. It's going to be on the 17th of February. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pre-launch promotion starting on the 10th of February. So I'm going to get everybody together who's interested in Viralio, tell them what the promotion is. They'll have 7 days to achieve it. Okay, so it won't be a big surprise. Everyone will know that there's going to be a promotion for 7 days at the end of the 16th. So on midnight, your local time on the 16th, that's the end of the promotion. On the 17th then will be the launch. And the promotion is going to be promoted as $1 million giveaway. It's quite simply going to be there's going to be three, as far as we're aware at the moment, there's going to be 3 different prizes. And somebody who does the right amount or who's best at one particular activity will walk away with something that's going to earn them $1 million, as $1 million a year income once it's set up and running. But it'll take several months for that to sort of gain ground, gain traction. But when it's running properly, that person will be earning $1 million a year, an increase from there probably. And then there'll be 2 other prizes. They'll be worth $25,000 and $10,000, I think. But there'll be more news about that on the meeting on Monday the 10th. Is that right? Monday the 10th? Please let me check. Monday the 9th. So my meeting on Monday the 9th. So the launch is on Tuesday the 10th. So the meeting is on Monday the 9th. What we're doing with Viralio, we're changing it. We used to have, we were aiming to have 10 different exchanges hook up to Viralio by API keys. What we found was that a lot of people that had lost money, even though the trades should have caused you to lose modest amount while we were sorting out the challenges, what actually happened with some of the exchanges, people lost a lot of money because the exchange was not receptive to what we were doing. They delayed signals, and they also charged quite extortionate fees, as some of you on the call will attest. So we're changing it. The most successful trading we had was with Binance. So what we're going to do is people will be allowed to connect their Binance account to Viralio and pay a small amount of money. Basically, you put a deposit in the system. When you make profit, then we take 10% of your profit gets taken out of your deposits. And when your deposits are depleted, you can top them up again. Okay, so there's that. There's a lot of people in the world don't have access to a suitable Binance account. They either don't want a Binance account, or it's not available in their area, or the Binance accounts that are available in their area don't allow connection via API keys. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a tokenized community token for trading. So you don't buy into trading, you buy a share of the token. And as the value of the token increases, the value of your share of that token increases. So therefore, you'll see in the back office, you'll see how much the token is worth and your share of that value. You'll be able to withdraw anytime you like. I think it'll take about 72 hours to process a withdrawal, so not the fastest in the world, but the reason we need that time is because we can't take your money out of trades and close down trades. If we've got $100,000 in a trade and you want to withdraw $500, we can't close down $100,000 to give you your $500. So you have to give time, a little bit of time for those trades to be exited so that your money then is kept aside and given to you as quickly as we can, which will probably be 2 or 3 days, maybe quicker, who knows. And again, you put some money on deposit, and as you make profits, that some of that deposit money gets taken away to pay for the service. You only pay when there are profits. You don't pay if there are no profits. So that's kind of where Veralio is going. We have set up some Telegram groups, one for the official channel and one for like an open forum, if you like, where we can all talk to each other. And so if you're not part of that yet, join it and, keep up to date with that. I think it's going to be a tremendous launch. As you know, I've always had faith and confidence in Veralio. And if this is how we have to do it to make it succeed, then I think it's going to be worthwhile. Part of my confidence is based on the fact I know the guys that are setting up Veralio or have set it up and built the AI trading engine behind the scenes. I know what they did to make it work. I know how much time, money, and effort they've put in to make it work. And the results they're getting offline are pretty spectacular. But most of all, what I know is that the reason they're doing this, the reason they're setting up Veralio is so that they can trade and they can do crypto trades to make money for themselves to support their other business. Okay, so this is kind of a money generating project for them for their other business. They've got a huge business that needs a lot of money to expand, and so I'm with them. If they're going to use this to make a lot of money, I want a slice of that pie, please. And so that's kind of why I'm on board with it. These guys have never not succeeded at what they want to do. So that's Veralio. I haven't got the slides. I have got the slides, but they're sort of blanked out. Let's go into e-estate. I appreciate that we are. Okay. I thought we'd run out of time. We haven't. We just have to talk faster. So e-estate is a tokenized real estate platform. So you may notice with these different platforms, they all do different things. We don't have 6 platforms that are all trading in cryptocurrency or 6 platforms that are all in staking. Okay. It's kind of pointless because if something happens with the staking world or the trading world, which we've all seen, there's platforms that are so heavily invested in their trading that the same problem, one problem affects all aspects of the business and they fail. So we don't want to do that. We want to diversify in the truest sense of the word. So this is real estate and it's based on fractional ownership of real estate. So it's achieved through tokenization. When what happens is the property company, Eli Property Group Incorporated, gets hold of a property, they buy the property and they tokenize it. So they say this property is worth this much money in dollars, therefore it's worth this much tokens in EST tokens, the internal tokens within this platform. The EST tokens are not used externally, they're not exchanged. We're not waiting for the price of them to go up to cash in and none of that nonsense. Okay, it's a real business. So we buy those tokens, which also represents a share of that property. And then when the value of the property goes up, the value of your tokens goes up. And if you read the financial report from 2025, I can't remember now, the percentage increase of the apartments in Dubai, they went through the roof. I think they doubled in price. So if somebody had $1,000 worth of that property, is now worth $2,000. So when we get rid of that property, they will get a much bigger payout than if the prices stayed the same. So there we go. A property is divided into a number of fractions. I've just said that. And buyers can purchase as many of those tokens as you want, up to the maximum available for that property. So you could buy all of them if you wanted to. You can get involved as an agent or a buyer, and buyers earn passively and agents earn commissions from purchasers of their clients. you can also be an agent and a buyer. So as a buyer, you buy the property. As an agent, you earn from your own purchases. So you earn commissions based on your own purchases. And I recommend you do that. If you are thinking of introducing some people at some point, then you may as well become an agent straight away. And then when you buy your properties, you get the commissions. However, an agent pays a small subscription fee, $9 a month. But they are given a referral link to build their teams of buyers and agents. The transactions are written in smart contracts, which is fully visible on the blockchain, and you have to sign a contract. I always think that's cool. You allocate the money, push the button, contract opens up, and you sign it off with a finger on the screen. Job done. I buy properties now in about 2 minutes. When I owned real estate, it was months and months of work to buy properties. And we lost more deals than we actually won. But you still have to put in the amount of legwork, time, money, developing contacts, driving all over the place. Getting your clients all lined up, getting the mortgage companies all lined up. You have to do all of that, even if it failed. So a lot of work for nothing with estate. None of that. I buy a property in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Okay, so very, very easy to do. The fraction of the property purchased by the buyer is backed by real estate, and the token is worth, typically a token is worth $10 worth of real estate. So $1 million property has got 100,000 tokens. You could buy 20, I could buy 1,000, somebody else can buy 67, okay? And we're all buying into the same property. The same success of that property will enrich all of us. So as you earn profits, you can hold your tokens and buy more property with it, or you can convert it to any one of 50 cryptocurrencies and withdraw it. You can deposit in one of 50 cryptocurrencies and send it into your e-wallet, and you can buy your property from your e-wallet. I'm not going to talk about ETK, but it is good fun. You get a chance to play with the money wheel, which is literally free money. They award you ETK for certain tasks, and then when you've got enough ETK, you can spin the money wheel and you can win real money. You can win up to $1,000. To me, that's just free money. There's not a reason for doing it, but it's a bit of fun. And my wife likes to do the money wheel spins for me. Don't know how, because to me it's a game of chance, but she always manages to make more money than I ever did. Earn great profit during the active phase. So when you buy a property as a buyer, you buy the property and you earn enhanced profit for 18 months. And then after 18 months, then you earn 10% per year. There are some deals, you earn that enhanced property for 18 months, then you get your initial investment money back again, because that's the way the deal is structured. But typically, typically you get your investment returned to you within between 5 and 9 months, 5 to 10 months, something like that. Depending on how much money you've put in and which type of deal it is, you'll get your money back. But certainly within 18 months, you'll get your money back a couple of times over, maybe 2.5, maybe 3.5 times, which is great. I never got that in a real estate business. We used to have so much money on the line with these deals, and we wouldn't actually get our money back until we'd sold all of the properties. So this is completely different. Larger properties cost more money, but you make more money every day. After 18 months, the property stops giving you that enhanced profit and it drops into a passive earning phase, which is worth 10% per year for the rest of your life, or until we get rid of the property, whichever sooner. And I looked at that and I thought, well, I'm getting all this enhanced property, then it goes down to 10% per year. Not keen on that. But of course, what I realized was that stocks and shares, if they're paying you dividends, in fact, if they're paying you dividends at all, it's very, very minimal, right? Like Microsoft are paying 0.75% per share. Tesla aren't paying any share dividends at all. Whereas here you get a guaranteed 10% per year for the rest of your life. Bear in mind, there's nothing for you to do with that property. In fact, the reality is, since you paid for it, you've never had anything to do with that property. So you're getting your money back, and then your money back again, and probably your money back again, and then you're getting your money 10% per year for the rest of the time that we've got hold of that property. So it's a great deal. It really is a good deal. If you were to offer this to somebody in real estate, they would bite your hand off for this. I'm not going to talk about that. Agent benefits. You can earn commissions from your own purchases and those of your buyers and your agents. You become a licensed real estate agent, a digital real estate agent. And you sign an agreement. You're bound then by a not only that agreement, but by a contract of employment. You're bound as well by a charter. So, and what you're bound to do is to just be nice about the whole thing, not misrepresent anything, not try and swindle people out of their money or anything, misrepresent the real estate, none of that. Just be a nice guy about it. That's all really you're signing to agree to. Because in this industry, as you know, there's an old expression that says one bad apple spoils the barrel. I guess I used to store apples in barrels. And so that's the case with this. If you've got somebody running around telling people, oh, your estates, we can do this and I can do that and just give me all your money, then it's going to ruin it for everybody. So you agree not to do stuff like that. You have a customizable landing page. Again, I told you all about landing pages and why I like them. You receive deal commissions when your agents and buyers buy property, you earn a deal commission. When they're earning profit on the back end, you also earn profit commission. And as you build your business, when you achieve a certain volume in your business, then you achieve bonuses as well. So I said about the deal commissions, down 8 levels. Profit commissions, you receive down 5 levels. And agent bonuses, there are 10 levels. The top level, just for growing your business, just for being in there and earning money for yourself, they will reward you with a $10,000 bonus when you hit the level 10. And you can receive revenue sharing bonuses from levels 3 to 8. That's e-token rewards. Every time you save up 100 ETK, you can spin the money wheel and you can win anything from nothing. I don't know if this class is winning, but it's one of the options. 50 cents, $1, $1.50, $2, $3, $4, all the way up to $1,000. Typically, I get around about $10 to $25. One time we got a $50. So it's entirely possible one day we'll get the $1,000 free money. So we're looking forward to that. So the property can sell out. It's not this kind of supports what we're saying, that it's real property. It's a real business. If it wasn't, then you could just sell the same tokens to the same properties over and over again. But we're not. When the property's sold out, that's it. It's off the market. And some of you have been disappointed. You wanted to buy a particular property, and when you went on the website, it's not there. It's been sold. But there will be more. Don't worry. It's not there are plenty of properties in the world. Occasionally, there are special offers available from time to time. So sometimes you can just get involved in this for $10. Now, you're not going to make a lot of money, but it can give you confidence to see how it all works. Just maybe have something, then you can take somebody and show them, look, I put $10 in, this is what happened. And look, I'm making money every day, that sort of thing. There's a great opportunity to deposit some money. A purchase of property, get your investment back within 7 months, continue earning at that level for another 11 months, and then you get 10% for life, 10% per year for life. And this fits our criteria as wealth warriors because you can get in for a very low amount and build up your asset base over a long period of time. That's what we like. So here's a strategy. This is a bold strategy, but a real estate person would think nothing of putting $100,000 into a real estate deal, keep hold of that property for 3, 4, 5 years, and then hopefully realize the gains when they sell, on which then they have to pay a load of tax. So with this one, you invest $100,000 and you buy a development property. Development property is a particular type of property that's available to wealth warriors, to e-estate. So you get your money back of $100,000 in roughly 5 months, which means in that 18-month period, to the end of the 18-month period, you've received back $331,500. So you put $100,000 in, and you got back $331,000. Then you get your 100,000 back again, which means that you've actually got 431,500, which is 431% gain in 18 months, in the next 18 months. So if you had $100,000 from BitNex, for example, or from Republic of Old Souls, and you wanted to use it to multiply your income, this is a great way of doing it. And this produces income. So if you're going to get $100,000 every 5 months, you're getting $20,000 of withdrawable income every month. So, so by tying up $100,000 in this, you're not tying it up for very long before you can start withdrawing useful chunks. You can withdraw the next day if you want to, but you probably want to save it up to be, a few $1,000s to withdraw. So, this is a great plan. We're not going to go into another strategy. Let's move on to something else. Lumex. Lumex is a staking business, a staking platform. But unlike other platforms, other staking platforms, and I believe now I've looked at hundreds of staking platforms in the last 2 years, and I've rejected pretty much all of them because you can't see what's happening. I said this earlier, you just can't see what's happening. With Lumex, you can see every single transaction that earns us money. When you see them make a few dollars every few seconds, you realize that I have to do that many times before we're making a lot of money. And it's instantly available. You can see all of those transactions, and you can see them on the blockchain once the transaction's complete. So it's a clever system. It doesn't actually move your money around. What it does is it intercepts a transaction that's already in place. So, for example, somebody's moving their money from an exchange like Binance, and they're going to move it to Robinhood. And on Robinhood, they're going to buy that cryptocurrency at a particular price. Our system would say, we can get that at a better price. So what we'll do is we'll interject ourselves, and they do this on the back of the nodes on the actual blockchain. It's like raw. It's not all dressed up nice and fancy through an exchange or anything like that. It's just raw data on the back of the node, or the super node, or the master node, whichever it is. And they say, right, so we're going to sell them that same cryptocurrency. We're going to sell it to them at this price that they're happy with. Meanwhile, we're going to take the other side of that transaction, and we're going to buy the other side of the transaction from over here, which is cheaper than what Robinhood were offering. So we take their money and give it to them at the price they were expecting to pay Robinhood. Meanwhile, we take that and we then buy it over here at a better price, and we make $20. Okay, so and it happens in fractions, millionths of a second. And you can see it because the buy and the sell exchange transactions happen at exactly the same time. The time clock goes down to thousandths of a second, and they happen on the same thousandth of a second. So they're happening faster than that. And it does that. That's not the only way it does it. There are 6 different types of arbitrage. Triangular arbitrage and time-based arbitrage and all sorts of things. Okay, so you don't really need to worry about it. We've got AI engines taking care of it all, but you can see it. That's the point I'm making. You can see it in the back office. We also make the system also is involved in crypto trading to a small extent, so we make profit on that. And they have a wonderful exchange built into the system that's cheap and fast and reliable. And when people use it, they pay exchange fees, and we all share part of that profit. So it's a very inexpensive way to convert your crypto from one coin to another. Typical cost is less than 1 cent per transaction. I think last time we were here, I showed a transaction I did only a few hours before that presentation, and I moved $20 on Tron. I moved $20 just before that on the Tron network, and it cost me $5.49 to move $20. Through this system, it cost me 0.49 cents, less than half a cent to move $20. So, and I just moved quite a significant amount of money, a lot more than that, many thousands of dollars through the exchange, and it cost me less than $1. I can't remember exactly how much, but it was ridiculously cheap compared to anything else. every month for the last 3 years, I've been losing money in Bitcoin because I take the Bitcoin from where I earn it and move it to this exchange to then put it over there. And I was losing hundreds of dollars every month. With this, none of it. I'm excited about that. So there are 12 reasons to join Lumex. One of them that everybody likes is that every time you earn $5, it gets sent back to you. You don't have to go in there and request a withdrawal. It's already in your wallet. You can see that they're earning every few seconds. You can see a transaction every few seconds, and you earn the amount that they said you're going to earn. There's a bracket. You always earn in that bracket. You can stake for 7, 30, 90, 180, or 360 days. And you get better returns the longer you tie your money up. The minimum staking amount is $100 in all of those options. It's not if you want to get the 360-day contract, which is a much better interest rate, then you got to put $10,000 in. None of that. They will start at $100. And so you earn the daily rate, and then at the end of that contract period, you get your money back. You can withdraw up to 50% of the principal after 50% of the staking period. So if you think, well, I've got a little bit of emergency, I've got a $10,000 contract there, it's run for more than half of its time, I just want to take a couple of $1,000s out, then you can do that. There's no penalty. You just start earning less from that point on, because now instead of $10,000, you've got $8,000. But you can do that. I've never seen that before. I've never seen any of these programs prepared to let you have some of your money back if you need it partway through the deal. All profit generating activities are fully visible. You can earn from the 8 forms of arbitrage and exchange fees and crypto trading. It's real crypto anti-tracking mixing engine service. So once you make a transaction through that exchange, nobody can track where that money came from. It's as if it just appeared from nowhere. And similarly, when the money that went in, if people are tracking that money going in, they'd say, well, it got that far. I don't know what happened to it then. Where did it go? Okay, that's what a mixing engine does. It slices and dices and sends it somewhere and then combines it all back together. So it maintains privacy. There's a unilevel daily earnings down 6 levels. Sorry, I still haven't changed that. Well, technically it is true. The first 2 levels get paid to you in money. The levels 3 to 6 you get paid to in points, and the points will be used soon to buy their own. They're about to launch their own coin, and so if you have a holding of those points, then they can be converted into those coins. Typically, after these coins have launched, they'll go up in price. I don't know if they're going to go up massively. I suspect they're going to go up, I don't want to say massively, maybe significantly. I think somebody who buys into those coins are going to double, treble, quadruple their money. So that's going to be a good thing. However, that's not what we do. In Wealth Warriors, we don't necessarily want a business where all we do is buy coins, sit on them, wait for them to grow, and then sell them. That's not really a business, in my opinion. That's trading. Team profits, you can earn on team profits down to infinity. And as your team grows, you can earn between 10% and 80% on team profits. If you have a team that's so small you don't earn 10, they don't qualify for anything, then you don't even earn the 10%. Once you get on that ladder, those levels are really very achievable. There are global company offices, and they'll be opening more offices around the world. And there are regular Zoom calls every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We post those details in the Wealth Warriors group, Telegram group. So this might be a strategy you want to consider. You buy a Star Core contract, which is 360 days, whatever you can afford, maybe $100, maybe $1,000, maybe $10,000, whatever you can afford. Every time you accumulate $100, you buy another contract. And then every time you accumulate another $100, you withdraw it. So I call this a 50-50. I actually operate a slight variation on this, but the idea is that you get your money back get your investment money back, but you're also increasing the size of your business at the same time. So you don't want to take your money out and do nothing else, because if the platform continues to grow and develop for the next 5 years, and you got all your money back and got out with your profit after 1 year, you'll think, why didn't I just stay in? Okay. Whereas if you don't take money out and you keep reinvesting, 100% reinvesting, so you've got a huge reinvestment portfolio, you've got a huge, huge asset there. As something happens with that company, it might not be anything nefarious. It might be that a government department decides to shut them down. It might be the guy running it dies and nobody else knows how to run it, or his children say, we don't want to do this. So, the platform goes. It's nobody's fault. But if you've done 100% reinvesting, you've lost everything. So you don't do that. You plan for the best, but expect the worst. So you take some out and you keep some in. You have got to do that, of course. That's what I do. So let's imagine you start with $1,000, then you're going to be earning $12, about $12.40 a day. And that means you can recoup your capital within 70 days. But then after 8 days, you can buy a new contract. So now you've got $1,100 working for you, which means that after another 7 days, you've made another $100, you can withdraw it. But after another 7 days, you can also buy another contract, which means you've got 1,200 working for you, which means you earn $100 every 6 days. So after 6 days, you withdraw, and then after another 6 days, you buy another contract. Then after another 6 days, you withdraw, and eventually that period gets shorter and shorter, and eventually when you've got 8,000, I think it's $8,500 worth of contracts, you'll be earning $100 every single day. So, one day you withdraw, the next day you reinvest. Eventually you get to the point where you're making $200 a day. So you could withdraw and reinvest every single day. That would be an exciting time. And if the platform lasts that long, we have no reason to suppose it won't, but let's not be overly optimistic. Let's just say if it lasts that long, then there's no problem with all of us getting there. If we have this strategy where we take some out and reinvest some, eventually you will get to the point where you're making $100 a day, and then $200 a day, and then $500 a day, and $1,000 a day. Okay, so it's just a function of time. If you start, the more you start with, the easier it gets, because if you start with $10,000, you're making $100 every single day. You still recoup your capital within 70 days. With the Star Call contracts, that's pretty much, it doesn't matter how much you put in, it takes you about 70 days to get it back out. But then the very next day, you've made $140, so you can buy a new contract for $140. And then the next day, you're $141. So you make $141, so you can withdraw that. And then the next day, you buy another contract because your asset hasn't gone up because you withdrew the money, you didn't reinvest it. So the next day, you are now making $143 a day. So you buy another contract the day after, and then your money's gone up to $146 a day. And so that's how it goes. So that's a strategy. So there are adopted platforms. I just want to talk about one other platform, and that's called Uchain. I said earlier there are plenty of good platforms. A lot of people like Uchain as a platform. It's not part of what we do with Wealth Warriors, but a lot of people do it. It's a good, reliable business, been around for a long time, making people money. So if you want to get involved in Uchain, you can drop a message in the group. You'll see that there's a whole channel dedicated to Uchain. We have a Wealth Warrior who's dedicated to helping people get involved in Uchain, help them get up and started and making money in that. So, so we have a channel for you to contact people in that way. So Uchain operates a trading bot. I don't know if you want to call it a trading bot or it's kind of like a license. You buy a license to take advantage of what the trading bots are doing. So you don't actually have your own bot. You pay for a license. And let's suppose you pay for a license for $1,100, which is one option. Then what it will do, you then deposit some money into a trading account within the Uchain system, and the bot then will trade your money And the more money you've got, then the sooner it will return a multiple of your investment. Once the target once the target profit has been hit, then the bot stops and you need to buy a new bot. Okay, but it's either 3 times, 3.5 times, 4 times, 4.5, 5 times the profit, depending which trading, which license you buy into. And you can buy licenses for 110 all the way up to $11,000. So the difference is they return your money. The bigger robot, the bigger license returns your money quicker than the smaller one. Also, more money to trade returns your money quicker, or returns you more money every day, I should say, than a smaller amount to trade. So the $1,100 bot is a realistic entry point if you want to see meaningful returns. So the 110, you wouldn't see great results. You might think, well, why am I doing this? The bigger bots are better, but most people don't have $11,000 plus $100,000 to put into a trading fund. Okay, but to do this $1,100 bot and $11,000 for trading, that's not beyond the realms of or beyond the possibility for a lot of people. I'm not saying everyone. I'm saying a lot of people could get to that level. But that's exactly why we're not, or that's one of the reasons we're not promoting this as part of Wealth Warriors, because we need something where everybody can get involved. Okay, so to finish off about Wealth Warriors, we are building a solid foundation on which we can base our financial futures. We want to work with companies that are in it for the long term, as far as we can ascertain. We only work with companies that are above board, as far as we can ascertain. So we strategize just in case they're not, but we are also very discerning about who we get involved with. We build a large asset, which in turn will deliver us a large income, whatever it is, if it's contracts, we want a lot of contracts. If it's real estate, we want a lot of real estate, and so on. Only platforms that meet our rigorous criteria are even considered. I walk away from so many platforms that people bring to me every single week. But there are good platforms out there, and we need good platforms. We're actively looking for them. So if they're there, we'll find them. The point is that we apply our rules to this industry to achieve our outcomes. We don't want to be at the mercy of any one person, any one company, any one government, anyone, nothing. It's our decision, it's our life. We want to be the freedom fighters in our own life. We need to stand up and be the freedom fighters. We don't want to be controlled by anyone, even if they're one of our platforms. If we don't like them at any point, we walk away. They don't own us. Okay, it's our platform. So it's our community, it's our goals, it's our dreams, it's our outcomes, not theirs. You see, what you'll learn is that these companies do not love us the way that we love ourselves. In the sense that if they've got to make a decision about something that's going to be good for them but bad for us, they won't hesitate. They'll make the decision that's good for the company. And if we lose money, if we're unhappy, if we're disillusioned, well, that's just tough. And we see that with so many platforms. I'm actually involved in a platform now that it's kind of a legacy thing from something I was doing a long time ago. That platform went bust, but somebody else came along and picked up the tab. And now those people, so I had some money in there anyway that I couldn't withdraw, so I let it grow. And now they've just decided they're going to change all the rules, and I can't access that money now. They'll let me have a little bit of that money every day for the next 3 years. So you can't work and promote under those circumstances. And I haven't been promoting that platform for a long time anyway. But people are still saying, "Oh, they're a great company. Look, they're letting us have our money back." Hang on, what? So when we see something like that, that's why we walked away from that platform. This no longer meets our requirements. They're no longer the company we joined up with. We're out of here. Okay, so finally, it's important to remain safe on the internet and in the world of online opportunities at all times. Do not share your password or other credentials with anyone. Where it's available, set up 2FA on your accounts. And if you don't know what this is or how to do it, just Google 2FA. Google's great for stuff like that. And the reason I'm hot on 2FA is because it's the only security aspect of these accounts that you're in control of. If you're not in control, then there's a liability there. There's a weakness, a vulnerability. Back up your passwords and your 2FA codes in a secure location, and make sure somebody knows where those passwords and 2FA codes are. Probably in the executors of your will, your living will, your power of attorney, or your beneficiaries. Just make sure somebody knows where that information is so that they can access your accounts and therefore access your cryptocurrency holdings. So that's the end of the presentation. Welcome to Wealth Warriors. We are financial freedom fighters in our own lives, because if we don't, nobody else will. Get back to the person who invited you on this call or referred you to this video. They're ready and waiting to help you avoid scams, protect your permanent network, and create immense personal wealth. That's the plan. So I'm going to stop the share, go back to the room, and I'm going to close down the video. So, but we'll stay on for a question and answer session after we've stopped the video. So guys, thank you for being here. And those of you watching this by video, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. If you did, please just make a comment below, or at least a like, a share, or subscribe, whatever. You know how YouTube works. The more people that watch the video, the further they're prepared to spread my word. And I think it's a word worth spreading. If you think so too, then please join in. I'm going to do a similar call to this on Wednesday evening next week. We'll be in the middle of the Viralio promotion then as well, so we'll be able to give you a better update for Wealth Warriors. Tomorrow I'm doing a presentation for e-estate at 8 o'clock UK time. Sunday I'm going to be doing a presentation for Wealth Warriors, and we're not going to be talking about the platform so much, just a minute on each of the platforms, but we're going to be talking about the philosophy behind Wealth Warriors, why we do it, how it all hangs together, what we're trying to achieve, that sort of thing, which will be good. If you don't know anything about Wealth Warriors, come and join us on that Zoom call. That's suitable for bringing brand new people to Wealth Warriors. This call this evening is not suitable for brand new people. It'll confuse them. And then on Monday next week, on the 9th, I'm doing a Viralio pre-launch Zoom call, not for Wealth Warriors. Wealth Warriors were invited, of course, but it's on behalf of Viralio. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.
I want to see you win. I want to see you absolutely smash every single dream you have. I want to see you overcome all of the barriers you face, and I want to see you succeed. I'm your biggest fan, your top supporter, and I'll be with you every single step of the way. You're destined for greatness, with or without me, and I want to see you achieve. Your potential is limitless, and your determination is inspiring. Keep striving for your goals, and I'll continue to cheer you on.